Los Angeles began it as a pueblo in 1781 as a multi-ethnic community. So its roots were multi-ethnic. So I think with that understanding, you try very hard not to leave out those stories that have been left out of what we call the traditional histories that have been written, but also to understand that the methodology doesn't just come from standard textbooks or what PhDs or noted scholars have written about our city of Los Angeles, and that could be applied to other cities, but to understand that communities have long traditions, have long histories, and that we come up with new ways to arrive at those full stories. I've learned the most about the city by sitting down and listening to people, probably more than I have from what we call the traditional, textbooks that people write and maybe not get read by the wide, broad community. And I guess Los Angeles has been knocked around by even within the country, right, by cities like New York and Boston, that Los Angeles is constantly remaking itself, constantly destroying its built environment, or maybe even erasing its real history in this quest to always move forward, to be future-oriented. That's one of the biggest challenges, is to help people understand this long history, this history of struggle and the history of accomplishment that those who came before in the 19th century and struggled and also thrived in the early 20th century. It's really hard to make that bridge, to tie that. I think that's part of the role or the mission that we as historians have, is to help people understand these stories and to help them understand that you have some connection to that. Los Angeles finally, and I'm not sure how to date this, but at least in the past few decades, Los Angeles is finally getting closer to better historic preservation, whether it's preserving our built environment or people doing oral history, like something that I'm interested in. But students in school, teachers are teaching local history, and students are becoming much more aware of the significance of communities or particular buildings. So Los Angeles itself is actually going through a process of being more aware and valuing the past as a way to look forward, as a way to move forward. People on the ground, everyday people, middle school, high school students that are starting to research, and that's happening. I'm excited always excited when I hear about a middle school or high school where they are actually uncovering history in their community by interviewing 90-year-old people about what was it like living here, a long time ago. That's exciting. I think there are a lot of young scholars that are uncovering multi-ethnic history of Los Angeles. I'm excited about what I'm going to be reading if I'm around in 20 or 30 years to see how memory is formed and new identities, new monuments, new centers of history and culture are arising. So it's an ongoing process. I'm a big believer in trying to preserve a lot of the past. Don't get me wrong, but I think the process of recovering history is an ongoing thing, because history happens. It's never static, or it's never in the past. It's always in formation.